overwhelming, isn't it, really? And it is overwhelming. Even if you're not going through divorce, the pace at which financial services changes and what's happening, you have to approach this from yourself. Other people cannot really put themselves in your shoes in the same way you can't really put yourself in other people's shoes. You're going through a very difficult time, but out of that time will come your own dreams and a vision for what the future should look like. Typically, if you're going to see a financial planner, they're going to start asking you questions about some of the things you probably already have. What do I have in my savings? What do I have in my pensions? What kind of life assurance might I have? The next thing that they say is usually, oh, you haven't got enough pension, you haven't got enough savings, you perhaps need some life assurance. So they're trying to find a product to sell, because typically that's how financial advice works. They'll find a product to sell you. There's a very good reason why you may have it at that time. I'm not saying they're bad things, but they don't fulfill you on an emotional level. There's no attachment to a product, that's for sure. So I think that as useful as this exercise is, we need to park it for a while. And the first question that we should need to ask is, what goals do you have for you in your life? Or what is your life's intention? What is it that you're aiming to do? What are the goals that you have, and what are your values around those goals? And what a good financial advisor, a good financial planner ought to be able to tell you is that your goals and values have a monetary worth. We want to be able to put a figure on that and say that if you want to achieve financial independence at a particular age, you maybe need to get a particular number. We don't know what that number is. It's different for everybody. Now here, that's when this information becomes important, because we want to know if that's a target that we're aiming for, where are we starting from? So that's why we've got this. And if these things grow, and that's the target, you'd like to think that that's where you're headed. And then along the way, there's going to be income coming in, and there's going to be expenditure going out, so that's kind of cash flow. There are some parameters that you're going to put around it. You may have a particular attitude to risk that means that it doesn't matter what investments, what strategy you follow, it's never going to make a lot of money because you're never going to take high risk. So you want to know whether you're going to be on target, and invariably there's going to be a shortfall. Until you know the extent of that shortfall, you don't know what the decisions are that you're going to take. The decision actually might be to reduce your expectations, extend the timeline, make this more tax efficient than it already is, alter your pattern of income and expenditure, or a combination of all of those things. And you will notice that what I haven't done here is talk about pensions, savings accounts, tax vehicles. I want to know, what is your life going to cost you, and what has your money got to do for you? How does it serve you? And when we know that, then the right product will present itself, because it may be that over that period of time, some of this money could be tied up long term in something like a pension. But you make that decision later. But what I was saying earlier about sticking plaster is sometimes these things are not instantly apparent. So don't start making huge decisions about money, particularly stuff that's going to be locked up and tied away for quite some time, until you know what it is that you want to do with your life. Long-term savings and big decisions, decide what your goals and values are first. Well, it depends on how much responsibility you want to take. If you can afford to find a good financial planner, I would probably do that. I would find one that you could work with on a fee basis, so that there was no incentive to try and sell you something else, rather than somebody who's working on a commission basis. So that, but I would say that because I'm a fee-based financial planner. But if you can't afford to go to a financial planner, I would start reading the quality press, sort of some of the money magazines that are out there. Avoid the bits where they want to try and sell you some funds and things like that. But just, what are the basics? There are certified financial planner websites around the world. In the UK, we have the Institute of Financial Planning. In the United States, they have certified financial planners. The regulators sometimes have You know, again in the UK we have Money Made Clear. It's a website by the Financial Services Authority, and just get a lot of basic, very basic information to get an understanding what things cost. And some credit cards will charge you 24-25%. Some will charge you 6 or 7. I know which one I prefer.